to the Nerdiverse. Go ahead, sit and listen to the masters, the old heads, talk about what you love the most. Video games, comics, movies, and everything you need to maintain your week. Got the knowledge that's straight out the ether. Gonna need a drink and have to take a seat to expand your mind and listen to the speaker. Mike and the squad's gonna give you what you need. And please send in a question, come and get some answers, learn a couple lessons from the masters with the special guests. We got the Green Lanterns glowing on their chest. Yes, please sit back and relax, cause we gonna hit you with them stone cold facts. And allow me to be the very first to welcome you to the masters of the Nerdiverse. Welcome to Masters of the Nerdiverse, where we always have such sights to show you. You can always find this Fresca-loving podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Google Play. Fresca. I don't know why my octaves... Fresca. Give me a... I don't want to bubble up. I don't want to 7-Up. I want a freaking Fresca. I am, of course, your host, Mike G. And with me, as always, is our super intelligent co-host.
These pretzels are making me thirsty.
I say that on a daily basis, and no one gets it. Like I was on a blind date once, and I was like, hey, do you have a ketchup secret? And the girl was like, what? I was like, your ketchup secret. She was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, can you pass the ketchup? She was like, yeah. She did not get my Seinfeld reference. It would have been bold if she did. It probably would have made the process worse. Yeah. She actually knew what I was talking about.
Now, I love Seinfeld, but I still don't know what you're talking about with ketchup secret. So
do you remember that episode? It's the episode where Jerry and George go to the guy at CBS or NBC, and they try to resell their pitch, their pilot. And Homeboy's daughter's there, who is Denise Richards. And she's showing like massive cleavage, right? And the dude catches George peeking at her cleavage. And so they're like, let's catch him up. We're gonna have Elaine meet him at dinner. And Elaine's gonna have like super clenching cleavage.
Yeah, okay.
And
I
when we
remember
catch
that
him
episode.
up, she was like, "Do you want to know my ketchup secret?" He's like, "What?" Then George and Jerry pop from behind her and looking at him like, mm-hmm.
Yep. Very brave to bring up Seinfeld references on a blind date.
You got to know what you're dealing with, man. Like,
it's almost up there with talking politics on a blind date.
No, it's one of those things where it's like on a blind date, you can't let your freak flag fly too proudly because you don't want to scare people away, but you have to drop little hints. And I thought that was like a super subtle, like I'm a nerd hint. Yeah. And if she caught it, then that's great, right?
Like LSD, you don't want to do a big part. You just want to do microdosage.
You don't want to do a big pull of LSD your first time, dude. You're not going to have a good time. No. You got to do a little bit. You got to put a little bit, on your pizza and see how you let it rock.
Like the Silicon Valley folks do.
Yeah, man. You can't just make like Windows 7. You gotta be stoned out of your head. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. People don't know how to internet.
Can I tell you this meme that I made? Well, sure, first ask me how was my week.
You know what? I love pulling the cart before the horse there, Winter. How was your week? What did you do?
So I made this meme that I thought it was funny, so I just released it today, and it's a picture of Post Malone in a cop uniform, and then this is a joke. This is a timely joke due to the news coming out of like new regulations for cops in California. Look it up, and I put California cop code. 4128C69420 before using deadly force. Yeah, before using deadly force, you first drop Post Malone beats to see if he will surrender to the funk. I said something like that.
That's fire, Doug. That's that fire shit.
Yeah, it's dumb if you see, but that I'm known for making memes that are not that that don't use language. I like to use people's brains with a
man.
meme.
You got a clean meme.
I'm the Frasier of memes.
One of my favorite, I've been falling down like a biblical meme hole, which is the funniest thing ever. It is a picture. You know the meme where the guy is like checking out the girl from behind, and the girlfriend's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah,
well, it's a picture of that, but the guy is just a giant pillar of salt. The girl is Lot, and the other girl is Sodom. It's super stupid.
That's funny. I do have to say that all you making biblical or like Christian memes, you got to get better. Some of them are just
like you have to be a little dirty to make good memes, and like you're asking vegetarians to master, Italian meatball, man. They're just not going to understand what makes it good. You know,
like I don't. I'm kind of hesitant to say this because I feel like if I've been tempted to write jokes for this show because they would pay me. They pay joke writers, but there's a internet show that's connected to this ministry thing that they're trying to do like their own version of a late night talk show.
Right.
And it's one of the weirdest things you'll ever watch because they'll say a joke, but then it's kind of like they have to backpedal every time they say a joke. Like joke, insert laughter, real laughter coming in, real homeschooled laughter.
Yeah.
And then they'll go, but in all seriousness, Jeremiah actually was.
You can't do that, right? Like, you can't. When it comes to comedy and horror, the two most knee-jerk reactions when it comes to entertainment, like, you can't pull your punches. You have to be so confident in your joke that you can't be like, this is funny, but in Ezekiel 7:13, this is what actually happened. Yes. You can't be educational and be jokey unless you're like Norm Macdonald, and then you're just filthy as hell.
Well, it's like that's just Norm Macdonald. I'm going to do a real cough now, real quick, and you guys are going to enjoy the audio. Here we go.
Oh, jeez. That's
all right.
That sounded
so we're
wet, dog. That sounded wet, man.
So yeah. It was like there was even a joke about since we're a Christian ministry, we love coffee, and we're coming out with a coffee brand called Atheist Blend. It's dark and bitter.
Damn.
And they're like, our next guest is fame apologist, blah blah blah. Like you can't
do
just
that.
Go for
just do that, man. That's.
But
you gotta teach them how to meme.
We could talk a lot about Christian pop culture.
You got to show up to that station like Moses and have the 10 meme commandments. Show them a better way, man. Oh, jeez.
Just don't give them any slack. They should be treated as equals in the meme world.
Yeah, man.
That's what I'm saying. And they should be judged.
I want a Tower of Babel, but which is full of memes. You know what I'm saying? Our memes are too short to box with God.
It's just going to be filled with Ugandan knuckles.
Yeah, it's just Ugandan knuckles holding up like people planking all the way to the heavens. Because you stare at Ugandan knuckles, you don't need to know languages. You know what I mean? You just stare at it, and it's ha. It's a big ha. Other than being a biblical meme lord, have you done anything else this week?
Oh yeah, I worked.
that part.
Yeah. I've been playing more Sea of Thieves, but I got a little bitter last night, man. So I just started chasing other boats and crashing my boat into them. That was pretty fun.
That's one thing I like about like multiplayers. It's like there's a split second in every multiplayer where you literally go crazy. And you just want to firebomb the earth, and you come back to your senses like I just shot everything, and then that moment's gone, and then you're like, all right, I'm back to normal. I can play the game strategically now. Like in Monster Hunter, I just have moments where I just scream, and I just scream at the monster, and I just jump toward it, knowing I'm going to get hit and die. I get hit and I die, but I got that out my system. You know what I mean? I can play the game strategically again. Oh no, it's like it's a stress reliever, man. I was reading this thing about like in overseas, like all the college kids in the entire college town scream out their windows at 5:30 every night, every night to relieve stress. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Like everyone like
I'm sure the
it's
neighborhood
fine
loves
because
that.
everyone in the town does it. Like it's so if you're driving through like Hopenstocken or Stockenblocken, and you just
Yeah.
and it's like 5:30, you just hear a united roar. It's not the end of the world. It's just them freaking out because college is hard. And it's not like Invasion of the Body Snatchers or anything. Can you imagine driving through a town and exactly like at, just say, 1 o'clock in the morning, everybody's lights came on at the same time? That would freak me out.
That would be
freak me
crazy.
out.
I'd be scared of like a World War Z scenario of being when I'm in
Dude,
town.
I've had like moments where I've driven cross country, and I've had literally like hills of eyes shit where I'll be driving and I'll look and it'll be like pitch black. If you ever driven through Texas, there's some parts that it's just black outside. There's no lights, and you're driving and you just see 3 flashes from the mountains. You're like, what the hell?
And you stop for directions, and the guy goes, back the way you came.
You drive faster for like another 3 hours, and then you see another 3 flashes in the mountains.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? I need to get out of Texas now, dog. Like, I'm kind of freaking out.
Shout out to our Texas
No,
fans.
Texas is all love, but y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not crazy. Man, Texas is awesome. Like Frisco, shout outs to my Frisco fam, my Dallas fam, my Galveston fam. Dog. What? Anyway.
So speaking about great things, how was your week?
My week was far from great. I'm gonna wrap up my week really quick. I saw 3 movies, and I want to go over all 3 movies because they all are weirdly tied together in some weird thread of like situational numbness. And one movie I saw was Ready Player One. The other movie was Netflix's Titan with Sam Worthington. And the other movie was Blade Runner 2045. And they all deal with on a level with the end of the world, kind of. You know what I mean? Like the earth is shit, and we have to do things to make our situation better. And it's like in Titan, which wasn't that great of a film, but it just bit off more than it could chew. It was, man, the earth is in peril. We've used up all our resources. We need to go to planet Titan and figure out a way how to survive
Never
on that
heard
planet.
of that reference before. That
Earth. Oh, which one? The earth is in peril. Gaia, the spirit
the one
of the
about
earth.
like we're out of resources on Earth.
Oh yeah,
Like, it's been done.
It's the same thing for all 3 movies. So it's like, okay, in this situation, they're actively trying to just dump the earth because it's finished and move on. I'm not going to do any spoilers, but that's that. Ready Player One is like the earth is crap, and we're all just going to go on the internet and just ignore that the earth is coming to an end.
So this takes place in 2018.
It takes place in 2015, dude.
Oh,
Jeez Louise. Yeah, man. It's like, the countries are all falling apart. Everyone's living crammed on top of each other. Let's just go online. Screw it, dude. I'm going to be in the Oasis and party. The Ready Player One's a good movie. It's fun. It's a popcorn muncher, but the message is really weird.
Well, let's spend some time on Ready Player One because it's interesting that you bring that up. I'm in the state of where a lot of film critics or like people who like to talk about movies get in to where they can talk about the movie and they can have an opinion of it without actually seeing it.
Welcome to the internet. Welcome
Right?
to the internet, yeah.
Well, that's where I am, where I'll say right up, like, I don't have, like, a full-fledged opinion. I'm just going off of, like, I can't even find the reference anymore. But there was, like, there was a guy who was talking about an article that he read about how the audience for Ready Player One, the book, is no longer interested in Ready Player One, the movie. Therefore, the movie is different to the book.
Here's the thing, man.
Yeah.
Here's the whole, and this is a whole different tirade, but the book versus movies controversial situation, it's never going to be as good as the book, dude. Like, I was one of those guys where I was like, I want to read Ready Player One before watching the movie. And I'm super happy I didn't, because the book has so much more time, and your mind is going to make up way cooler shit than a movie could ever show you. That's first of all.
Your mind can make up what you want to see.
Right.
Your mind can make the best Star Wars for you.
Exactly. Your personal tastes are forming and framing around the words, which could be good or bad, but your mind does it. So there's nothing that Steven Spielberg and Industrial Light and Magic is ever going to show you that's as good as your own imagination. And that's the power of books. That being said, you can't go into it with this hoity-toity ideal that it's going to be equal or better than the novel or the book or the graphic novel, because it's not. You got to see it for something completely different. You know what I mean? And many adaptations fall flat, especially comic book adaptations. You know what I mean? Like, you can't go in. You're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Right. But it was like the people that I was listening to talk about this movie, they didn't like the book and they liked the movie.
You know why? There's a weird... I was listening to a review on this movie earlier, and one of the reviewers made a good point. He was like, "This movie..."
Who are you listening to?
I was listening to Drew Reviews podcast. I like those guys. Drew Reviews podcast. So give them a quick plug. But he was saying that the book doesn't age well. You know what I mean? The book itself doesn't age well.
Yeah.
It's very misogynistic. It's very kind of people... I'm not going to say gender, race, or creed. People are a prize to be won. You know what I mean? And it just doesn't age well in our social justice warrior society now. Whereas the movie tries to combat that and change things up. Because the movie I'm hearing is very different from the book, which is good, because you got to fix those things. Like, I'm sure Steve was like, "Yeah, we're not making this approach."
Well, no, I'm just gonna I've talked to my friends about this movie, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna try to do like a brief idea in my mind. So the book came out during the time of the rise of nerd culture, I would say. Like, you have the origins of Chris Hardwick, Machinima, Red versus Blue, I believe, around this time. G4, Attack the Show, all these things, and it was becoming like we're here, we're nerds, get used to it, sort of mentality, nerd pride. But and part of that was like nerds used references, like Machinima is like pretty much walking references, like, look at these Halo guys, sort of thing.
Exactly.
So now fast forward to now, to where just you using references doesn't mean squat anymore. That doesn't mean that because your mom or like your parents know what like a Halo Spartan is. So now or something like that. So Spielberg has to then go, okay, what is like nerd culture now, or something like that. And he has a great example through Marvel. Now, this is me getting to the weeds, and let me refrain. I have yet to see the movie. So
I'm following you. I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm suspecting that Spielberg has put in a ton of action sequences, and my friend told me that I'm correct. A lot of like CGI, like a lot of people are just in like green screen rooms while all this crazy stuff is happening. And I think that's what like nerd, meaning video game enthusiast, film people, like that's what the major market is right now. And like all my thoughts, it kind of gets lost in the weeds at the end.
That's fine. Fine. I totally get what you're saying. And from the point of view of seeing the movie, there are three major action scenes. One is good. One is great if you're into it, and one is the climax of the film. And what happens is that this movie is catering to children. It's an Amblin E.T. kind of feeling film. And I will say that all of the cameos / marketing ploy / Easter eggs are done in a tasteful manner. And I want to say the word tasteful because it's a lot. I equated it to the movie itself. If I had to bog it down in one sentence, is it's taking a ride on the Universal Studios movie tram, but also meeting.
That's a good way to put it.
You know what I mean? But also meeting like a newlywed couple. So while you just want to come in and watch, Jurassic Park and King Kong and Jaws, there's someone in your ear telling you how they fell in love. You know what I mean? And how they're gonna, they've been dating for 100 years, and you're just, I don't care. I came on the ride to see the cool stuff, and the movie gives you that in spades. I mean, it's almost annoying how much pause and you'll miss it stuff is in this film. This movie has that Avatar kind of feel where it's all fake, right? Know you're watching a completely computer generated scene, but they sell it. And they sell it like this is computer. We're inside a computer. So in your head, you're like, I can quantify this as some form of reality. It's not like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where Bob Hoskins is standing right next to Bug Bunny, and it's just the most uncanny valley breaking situation. When everything is CG, it's easier to kind of display belief and just be like, oh, I'm just going to have a good time. I know what I'm in for. And there's one scene in this movie. It's in the middle. It's honestly, it made me smile so hard that I'm just saying, as a horror fan, you're gonna love it. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to give away any more, but it tickles that part of your brain where it's like, oh, I know that. Oh, I know that character. Oh, I know that reference. And it constantly happens to where you have like an endorphin overload. And you just want to take a nap after watching it because your eyes don't stop darting all over the screen. You know what I mean? There's constantly things to see. And it's actually a pretty good movie. It's a giant, like you were talking about earlier, like the nerd revolution. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're nerds, get used to it. We have our channels. We have our things, deal with it. This movie is a corporate dude trying to explain that to a mass audience.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Something is lost in translation, which keeps it from being a perfect movie. You know what I'm saying? But in its innocence, it's still kind of fine. It's an okay movie. You know what I'm saying?
So let me reiterate that I have not seen the movie. Therefore, I'm not saying whether it's good or bad. I'm trying to get what we would call in the philosophical world, the zeitgeist of the behind the scenes of like, how did this movie come to pass sort of thing.
Well,
I'm not rating it an Ishtar yet. So
nah, man, this is not Schindler's List or E.T. or anything like that. It's not his best movie. Yeah. And I think everybody kind of going knowing that. No one's expecting him to he's literally retreading on the past. So there's no way he's going to innovate forward. You know what I mean? It's kind of a weird, funky balance. But do you have a night to go kill and see a popcorn movie that's going to make you smile and go, grr, I know that, then you're going to have a good time. And if you come into it with anything deeper than that, you're going to be disappointed because the acting is fine. Everything is fine, but the action scenes are amazing if you're a nerd. And if you're listening to this podcast, you are. So you'll bug out on that. But after that, it's empty calories. Put it like that. It's empty calories. You know?
So let's rate the 3 movies that you got. I also watched films this weekend that I should mention as well.
Okay.
But for you, let's review. Let's do the buy it, stream it, or toss it.
Good.
And you have to.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So for Ready Player One, what would you do?
I would buy it because you're going to want to pause this thing every 5 seconds and see what the hell you missed. I kind of want to see it again just to try to catch stuff I missed. So I would buy Ready Player One. Okay. It's not a high buy, but it's a buy nonetheless. Titan.
Nice.
I would toss it. It's not worth your time. I watched it because it was on Netflix and it was free and it was on. And I wanted to see what all the hype was about. It's not a good movie. Blade Runner 2045, that's a tough one, dude, because it's so dry and it's so good. It's like it depends on who you are, man. Me personally, I would buy it because it's a damn beautiful film. But if you don't like
Yeah.
wine, you're not gonna like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you would prefer a beer and not wine, then you're not gonna want this movie. You know what I mean? It's really based on taste. So if I can rock with wine when I feel like it, so I give it a buy. But if not, at
Yeah.
least stream it to watch it for the cinematography and the acting, and it's just a beautiful damn movie. But it's not for everybody. I was talking
Right.
to a friend earlier today, and I was like, "What do you think about it?" She was like, "It's so boring." I'm like, "Ah, you just don't get it. It's not an action film. It's science fiction. It's a science fiction crime noir, dude. It's not gonna have thrills and chills for the kiddies every 5 seconds. You know what I mean? But if you could rock with that, it's a good movie. So, Ready Player One is a buy. Titan is a toss it, and Blade Runner 2045 is a streaming. Yeah,
Nice. So for my buy it this week, well, I think I have something for every category. Here we go. Buy it is going to be 8mm by Joel Schumacher movie with Nicolas
that's
Cage.
a trippy one, dude. I've seen that one.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I thought, oh, Hulu has it. Let me take a look. And then it's just like, oh, Joaquin Phoenix is in here, named Max Heaven. All
That's
right.
a bomb ass name, first of
And
all.
and a not so plumb James Gandolfini.
8mm is a trip, dude. Check that out. That is definitely a stream, dog.
Watch it by yourself so that you don't feel like the other person is judging
it's
you
one of
for
those.
picking
See
this
it,
movie.
Test it first. This is a tested movie. Just test it on yourself first.
Yeah, it's like Midnight on the Orient, Midnight Train. Midnight on the Orient. That'd be another
Tested movie.
example of that. Yeah. So a stream, it's not technically a movie, so I'm gonna be cheating here, but NYPD Blue is now on Hulu, the entire series. You had to buy each season for like $15 on Amazon before, but not anymore.
Go get it.
Yeah, you get to see one of the most like one of the actors that looks like he should have never been on TV. Dennis Farina, not Dennis Farina, the guy who played Andy Sipowicz.
Okay.
Yeah, where he's like sweating while he's eating, and he's talking.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's like, how did he ever get this part? And he's perfect for it. So there's that. I don't have a toss it. I have another stream it. Stream Gilbert Gottfried's documentary, also on Hulu, talking about being married and having a kid, and it's very.
Does he have a boy
weird.
or a girl?
He has a boy
What
and
if
a
the
girl.
girl talks like him? I bet that's hilarious.
No, she does not talk like him.
It's all for naught then.
They interviewed the kids, and it's very weird because like you have this persona, this idea that Gilbert Gottfried is like the man on stage 24/7, but they show like home videos and he's nothing like that. It's very weird.
Yeah, man. Comedians are a weird lot, man. They're some of the most fascinating people in the world because they're so polar opposite their persona. Like Bobcat Goldthwait talks like a crazy man whenever you see him, but he drops it when he's around friends and family. And it's extremely rare that it's caught on video of him not doing the funny voice. You know what I mean? It's like,
have you met Bobcat Goldthwait in your celebrity days?
Shit, man. I wonder if that dude's even still kicking around. You haven't heard from him in a minute.
Oh, he's still around. He directs now.
Good for him, dude. That's what's up, man.
That's why I'm assuming that you'll see him because it's not like he has an entourage around
him. It's not like not like you're in LA and we all live like in a weird like Hunger Games, bubble. We just run into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Ice Cube.
I'll take that as a mental note.
Yeah, man. So these people.
You don't meet celebrities on every street.
Nah, man. Only every other street. Only every other day I see somebody and be like, "Are you Edward James Olmos?" He's like, "Yeah."
That is crazy that you bring up his name. Oh, I just finished Battlestar Galactica.
See, there you go. Find District 13.
And I had to look him up. I had to look him up and go like, this guy has done a lot.
He has done
and
everything.
He's doing more. He's going to be in the Sons of Anarchy spinoff.
How do I reach these kids?
Or like, Selena! I remember that. That's something he says in the movie Selena that I remember. Selena!
Selena! Speaking of movies, you want to get into this news, bro?
I suppose.
I actually have no movie news, which is funny.
Well, you have the return of the Fantastic Four.
Let's rock into that. So finally, Marvel's first family is coming back to Marvel Comics. Duh. So they announced that the Fantastic Four are coming back to comics in August with startling proud appraise. And there's no group in comics that's gotten the hardest shaft from the Fantastic
I thought this was about the movie. I should have.
No, man.
I should have read the.
This is about the comic books.
When it's a comic book, I should. Yeah.
You should have read the fine script. Yeah, man. I don't get to talk about comics that often because they're all dumb now. But this is going to be awesome, dude. Yeah, the Fantastic Four. The whole family's. Reed Richards, he's elastic. Sue can flee from sight. Johnny is the Human Torch, and the Thing just wants to fight. Let's call the Four.
Give me a good rundown of if you were going to create a story arc of Fantastic Four.
Boom, got it. Super easy, dog. In the MCU or just in general?
I'll allow it.
That doesn't answer the question.
Whatever floats your boat.
All right, boom. I'm about. This is just a freestyle ad lib creation of putting the Fantastic Four in the MCU. All right, boom. So the Fantastic Four already exist in the MCU. They're just a science loving family that is kind of not on the radar, kind of like how Doctor Strange was in Winter Soldier. So in Infinity War, Thanos comes to Earth and starts trouble, which causes Earthlings to want to look more towards the stars. The Fantastic Four get funding from Stark to get a ship to go into space and research the debris from the destruction of Thanos' ship, which is probably going to happen. They're hit by cosmic rays, they fall back to the ground, and thus become the Fantastic Four. Now, on Thanos' ship, he has tons of different aliens and kind of weird things that crash onto Earth. There's a guy that's called the Mole Man, who is actually one of the Fantastic Four's first villains. Let's say he goes and digs up all of those fallen debris and finds monsters that he wants to use to take over New York City. The Fantastic Four are the only ones to be able to stop him because in Infinity War, all the Avengers died. So the Fantastic Four have to go defeat the Mole Man, capture all the monsters, and save the day, thus cementing them as Marvel's first family.
All right.
That's the movie. And the stinger is that the Silver Surfer is hovering over Earth, ready to summon Galactus, Devourer of Worlds.
That'll be the Easter egg.
That's the Easter egg end of the movie stinger. Easy.
Wow.
Easy.
That's
and
impressive.
That's just one character. I can do every single major villain of Fantastic Four and think up something right now off the top of my head. I love this. I love Fantastic Four so much, man. But yeah, they're coming back to comics. I just want to know what the comic costumes are going to look like so I can draw them because I love drawing comics costumes, especially new ones. It's a really good creative team on it. I'm super hyped. Give me more Fantastic Four. Do right by them, please. They're the best. Please do right by them. That was fun.
My favorite. My favorite was the Thing. Both the Thing was my favorite part of the family.
Yeah,
I felt more like him in high school.
Right. Just kind of like the outcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, trust me, a lot of people relate to the Thing. I was always like Mr. Fantastic. I have a thing for leaders, and he was real brainy. Not really. Yeah. Couldn't really fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I related to him back when I was a kid.
Well, it's like if I was gonna write a Fantastic Four story arc, and it would be in comic book form, so I could really flesh this out. It would be, you get the tail end of the story, like a tail end of them killing Doctor Doom.
Damn. Okay.
Because Doctor Doom, yeah, okay, and then you flash forward to like 10 years later. Mr. Fantastic is now a politician.
Wow. Okay.
And he's the first one that you see. And the whole comic book series is dealing with old age, which is a common theme and stuff that I write.
Yeah.
Old age, dealing with having these superpowers, but having no one to fight them with.
That's tight.
Sort of
I like that. Okay.
Yeah. And dealing with the family being broken up because Mr. Fantastic is not connected with anyone else. You flash forward to Invisible Girl, who is doing. I'm going on and off. Like if I want to go, like I can go. Yeah, I'll do this. Like she's now a CIA agent doing things for the government.
That's cool.
And she's struggling with using these powers that she thought were for good, but now she's finding out that she's just like getting rid of these oil barons or stuff like that.
Yeah, she's doing
and then
stuff.
Yeah. So then you cut to the Human Torch. No, Human Torch is last. Then you have the Thing who couldn't find a job anywhere else, so he has to join a freak show.
That sucks.
But
it's Ben Grimm though. He always gets the short man.
Yes, and he's become a drunk and just living that. And what happens is at the end of the first comic, you see the Human Torch coming to a show of the Thing, and then it's like, we've got a job to do, and you don't know what the Human Torch has been doing until now.
That's dope, dude. Like. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. The Fantastic Four, you can do so much with them. They're so malleable.
Yes. Now, I don't know if comic books are meant for like nihilistic, depressive.
There's a comic out there called Marvel's Ruins, and it's a nihilistic, depressing ass take on the Marvel universe. And if you've read Ruins or find the graphic novel, it is the most depressing Marvel read you'll ever read. It has all these weird, dark sides to like superheroes and like realistic situations where it's like T'Challa, the Black Panther, was arrested by the FBI for terrorist attacks on the White House. You know what I mean? And like mutants were being like segregated, like, you know, back in civil rights movement, but Magneto sold out his children so that he didn't have to go to the slave, Genosha mutant slave quarters and stuff. It's really depressing. So if you want to read some depressing Marvel, check out Ruins. They mess with shit in your cereal real easy.
So if you're listening, I am available.
This one's free. It's free. Yeah. Man, speaking of things that are probably free right now, Toys R Us is closing, man. Holy shnikes, dude. What's the world coming to where Toys R Us is no longer a viable place to purchase toys, dog?
And where am I going to get my wrestling figures?
Where am I going to get my bouncy house? Right? You know what it is? Is that Amazon killed the department store star. You know what I mean? Like, and plus, kids don't play with toys anymore. I know how much
you're praising. Yeah, and you praise Trump so much for everything he does that now him taking out Amazon is.
Here's the thing, man. First of all, F Trump. I'm not. He has no place within the Nerdiverse walls, and kids just don't play with toys anymore. But man, like. Action figures are not for children. Barbies are not for children, man. They're for weird ass adults who want to like collect them and shit. And this all started during when phones got smarter, man. Phones killed toys. Mm-hmm. Like a kid's gonna want to jump on your phone, you know.
Yeah, there is. I think Nintendo kind of has the way to go for combining toys with video games, which
Labo,
neither
Labo,
you think
Labo.
not
Yeah.
that garbage, but
You mean
I'm
amiibos?
talking. Yeah, those are the ones that you put on top of your you put on top of your Xbox and they do something.
Your Nintendo Xbox.
Yeah,
Oh man, but more adults are buying amiibos than kids are, dude. I mean, you like it's funny. It's like you on Christmas morning, and kids. I mean, babies like from 0 to like 5 dig toys, right? Because their brains are still trying to wrap around what is Earth, right? But from
right.
5 to infinite, it's like, you got any games on your phone? You got any games on your tablet? It's like, no, man. You want to play with He-Man? Nah, I want to play on your phone. It's like, you can't touch my phone, bro. Little bro. And like, kids just don't mess with toys no more, and it's been like that for almost like 20 years. you know,
True.
and like these stores that are like these niche stores, kind of like how streaming kind of killed movie stores. I remember there used to be stores like Sam Goody in the Warehouse and Suncoast, Circuit City. They're all dying because it's like, why would I go to Suncoast and maybe find this movie when I can just buy it online now and get and have
True.
it? Because a lot of the consumer is, they're just not. They don't care about the special edition collector's cups, and they just want to watch their movie so they can go to bed.
Yeah, Amazon needs to get its butt into gear and get these Amazon stores up and running.
Man, stores are finished, dog. All there's going to be is a bunch of drones spinning around like in Ready Player One, delivering us pizza.
No, you're still gonna have stores because drones can't beat the impulse buy.
The impulse
So
Friday and Cyber Mondays are dropping more and more every year, man. You know what I mean? Cats is just like you can grocery shop online. It's like there's only certain tangible things that you have to leave the house for anymore. It's going to work and getting a haircut, getting your, you know what I mean? Like anything else, it's like you could just.
Well, you're depressing. So.
Let's move on. I'm gonna miss you, Toys R Us, man. But I hear that from the shadows, KB Toys is gonna make a comeback, which is dope. From the ashes of Toys R Us will rise the phoenix of KB Toys, dog. They're seeking their moment.
I can get my Mega Bloks.
I want my Mega Bloks, man. I want my my Lego Millennium Falcon for like $400. Can you believe that, man? Have you seen that? It's like a 14 by 14 model of the Millennium Falcon Lego. That shit's like $1,000, dog. Out of control.
Have you seen the Conan video of one of Conan's staffers is wanting their Millennium Falcon signed by Harrison Ford, and then Harrison Ford grabs it and like it drops out of his hands. And
I love Harrison Ford so much,
like,
man.
Here, let me just. Yeah, it's definitely fake, but it's so great. I show it to kids, and the kids get all pissed off. Like, Harrison Ford's the best,
dude. I remember he was doing an interview with like Adam Driver, and Harrison Ford thought he was going to tell a real funny knock-knock joke.
Yeah.
And Adam Driver, Harrison Ford was like, knock, knock. And Adam Driver was like, come in. And Harrison Ford gave him like this stare of death, like you little young bastard. It was the best. Harrison Ford is First of all, Harrison Ford is the most chill guy ever. He's like the old version of Keanu Reeves. It's like they just want to exist and have a good time.
Considering a guy that's been in like a couple plane crashes,
he just wants to fly his planes
over the years
and be a weirdo and chill. I would have a beer with Harrison Ford, man. I just want to chill with that guy. He's on the list.
Yeah. Question is, would he want to have a beer with you?
He's like, not at all. No. He does not want anything to do with Mike G. But as
long as you're paid,
you're buying. Whatever, sir. Like him, Clint Eastwood, like Bill Murray. You know what I mean? These cats. I just want to have a beer. I just want a beer with these dudes and just pick their brain.
Yeah, it went from action heroes to
like these are cats. I just need to know, man. Like, are you really an asshole, or are you just legit like crazy? It's like I just need to understand, dude. Speaking of
You know what I need to understand?
I
Oh,
know, right?
we both have
Segue
the same
kings.
idea.
I need to understand why Marvel TV
Yeah.
won't let Donald Glover make the Deadpool animated series. Have you heard about this?
Hashtag
It's
not my
crazy,
Deadpool.
dude. It's like,
Yeah, I've heard about it.
so long story short, Donald Glover gets tagged by Marvel TV to make a Deadpool animated series written by him. And apparently, he wrote the first pilot, and I guess maybe 5 episodes. I'm not sure how that process works. But Marvel was like, no, we kind of don't want this. And they said that, oh yeah, we weren't able to do it with Donald because he was busy. We had scheduling issues, and we couldn't do it.
But he already, but he already wrote.
It was ready to go.
Like a couple episodes. Like,
Yeah,
didn't he release the script?
that's part of it. And Donald Glover went to Twitter and was like, "Look, I was not busy, man. I was super ready to go, and these guys dropped my idea for XYZ reasons." So what he did was he wrote a 15-page draft about the situation, clowning like Marvel. He wrote the script about Deadpool going to Africa and having to like save the last endangered rhino. It was a big metaphor on how Marvel screwed him and didn't want to let quote unquote not quote unquote, but didn't want to let a black writer into that kind of situation, and completely burned his bridge, right? like completely burned his bridge.
Yeah.
And people are like animating it, and people are like bringing his 15-page script to life. It's like the coolest movement ever. Like, why won't Marvel ever let Donald Glover have fun? Like, they have a history. Like, remember when Donald Glover was like, "Man, why can't Spider-Man be black?" You know, it's a nerd kid who, this is the whole reason that like that inspired Brian Michael Bendis to make Miles Morales, which was the ultimate version of Spider-Man. I saw an interview and Donald Glover was like, a nerd kid from Brooklyn that loves science. I know a bunch of black kids who are like that. Why can't Spider-Man be black? Hashtag make Spider-Man black. Yeah, and
because he's not.
And so Brian Michael Bendis was like, "Why not?" And he made Miles Morales. And I'm gonna give you my 2 cents on the whole situation, on the black stand-ins for existing characters or female stand-ins for existing characters. Whoop-de-whoop. Is that this is a tough subject, but it's tough. It's rough, and I have to be very careful with my words.
Yep.
Is that comic books either embrace or deny lineage? And by lineage, I mean passing the mantle from one person to the next, but maintaining the name. DC embraces lineage. There's like 5 different Flashes, right? There's Jay Garrick, there's Wally West, there's Barry Allen, there's Bart West, tons of different, Flashes. So when you say the Flash to a nerd, it depends on which Flash they like. Same with Green Lantern. Even Batman has multiple people who've worn the mantle of Batman. But if I say Iron Man, you're going to think Tony Stark immediately, right? And that's it. If I say Spider-Man, you're going to think Peter Parker. Right. That's it. Hulk, Bruce Banner, whatever. And Marvel, Thor, right?
Thor.
During the 2000s, Marvel started mixing things up. Spider-Man is black now. He's Miles Morales. Thor is a woman now. Jane Foster. Hulk is Asian. Amadeus Cho. And it's like, if you want to pass the mantle onto a new character and build a world around that, that's fine. But don't just do it for sensationalism or just to say we have more ethnic characters. There is a falseness in that. There is a fakeness in that or whatever. I don't like it. And it just rubs me the wrong way as a fan, because I'm the first one to be like, Hal Jordan is my Green Lantern, but somebody else would say, oh, Kyle Rayner is mine. But at the same token, it's like people feel like, oh, Marvel just wants to say they have more ethnic characters and they're just going to create Miles Morales. But this stuff comes from places. Like I remember when James Rhodes was Iron Man in the 70s, people balked about that too. Nerds hate change, especially when it comes to their favorite stuff. You know what I mean? And change is rough. And if the character survives, then it becomes part of comic lore. Everybody either loves it or hates it. But there has to be some kind of intelligent writing behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just do it for shock's sake or for SJW's sake, because it rings untrue. That's all I'm going to say on that. And you know,
And yeah, well, it's like comic books are what are like the like example that I would point to, like you said, of people who do not like change. Like people know of the like the trope of the nerd going, well, what about issue 32? Blah, blah, blah. And so I feel like that is part of the comic book culture. What should be added to the culture is my personal opinion
that's my
is
thing.
like,
you want more black superheroes, create new black
superheroes, sort of thing.
Don't tie a black character to an already existing property just for selling's sake.
Right.
It's like making a reboot. You're making a reboot, right?
Right. Because you're making right. Well, you're essentially saying like this storyline, this character is dying. Like we can't get enough sales. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna spice it up with a minority. And that's essentially like what they're gonna do. It's a lot cheaper than trying to get
a lot
people
safer.
interested
It's
in
a lot safer.
buying comics.
People are
going
going
to
to pick up Spider-Man, but people aren't going to pick up Aardvark Man. What the hell is that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Black or female.
Yeah, like you only see Batman's mouth.
So
it's all right if he's black. Yeah, that sort of thing.
Change is good. It's like Star Wars and The Last Jedi. This is like the perfect example of nerds raging against change. All The Last Jedi was a big ball of get over it, we're moving forward. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's the biggest matzo ball of we're moving forward, deal with it I've ever seen in nerd popular culture. And nerds hated it. You know why? Because it threatened their stability. It threatened what they already knew. Right? It's like, I know Spider-Man's Peter Parker. You know? No, he's not.
Right. Well, I think the important part of the Last Jedi, with that, was also showing, like, it used to be that it was clear cut that there was the Rebels, the Galactic Empire, and they were going to always fight each other, good or bad. But there's that little scene in there where the thief the thief guy who clicks his mouth, Benicio del Toro. Yeah, he shows that the arms dealer is selling weapons to both the Rebels and to the Empire, and I think that's a point of maturing for the audience to go, okay, there's a cycle that's happening here that people are profiting from, and it could take and it takes a new group of people to break the cycle.
Thank you. I'm so happy to have this conversation with you, because I've talked blue in the face to people about this and they just don't get it. Is that and I don't mean to go on a tirade about The Last Jedi, but it's about that the apple cart was ruptured, right? Like change, like you're not seeing it past the good guy fought the bad guy with a lightsaber. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's other things that are going on that need to be adjusted to let the not just the canonical storyline grow, but let the actual product grow. We need to move past the Jedis. We need to, not even the Jedis. We need to move past the Skywalkers. But you guys don't want to let it go. What do you mean Rey is not a Skywalker? What do you mean Rey is not a Kenobi? She doesn't have to be to progress the story. You know, it's so frustrating. It's like, if we're ever to, like, with comics is weird because you can tell infinite stories within a span of time, and these characters are never going to age. But Mark Hamill has aged. Ford is aged. Like, they need to stop. Leave people alone. Let them do other things and let new talent tell new stories. And like Donald Glover, going full circle to the original article, maybe he was talking about some radical stuff that Marvel was just not trying to hear. Maybe it was the race card. I don't know. but he sure did burn his bridges with that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm going to call the news. I have one more article, but I really don't want to talk about it because it's really irritating. You know what? I'm going to just talk about it real quick because I don't want to just talk,
Right.
pretty much Shadow of War, Lord of the Rings Shadow of War, the shitty next gen game that had single player microtransactions. Oh, God, that's a weird sentence. Removed all their microtransactions after the game stopped making money. Long story short, don't make shitty games. Okay, you ready for some questions? Yeah, sweet. So if you want to ask us a question, you can send that to mastersofthenerdiversecast@gmail.com. That is mastersofthenerdiversecast@gmail.com. Some really easy questions this week. Easy is the word of the podcast. Easy. You ready? Ready to rock and roll? Real quick, what's your favorite foreign film?
It's between two, Snowpiercer and The Professional.
Leon the Professional. Oh, that's a good answer, my friend. Because I'm a horror geek, mine's is a little movie called The Audition, and it's directed by, I want to say, Takashi Miike, and that's all I'm going to say about it. You need to just watch it. Watch Audition. If you're in horror, you'll like it, or it may irreparably mess up your life. All right. Speaking of horror, take a Nickelodeon show and pitch me a Nickelodeon show, but make it a horror movie.
Okay. Outside noises.
That's fine.
So picture Tusk 2, but with Cat Dog.
Sounds like a human centipede plus Tusk.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, or I was thinking of
that's gross.
Like a family that is out in the jungle and they get stuck, and the animals are fighting them, like they're trying to escape, but the animals are like fighting back, sort of thing.
What is that? Like wild thornberries?
Yeah, wild thornberries.
Damn. All right. I just thought of a weird Saw like Double Dare where there's an announcer the whole time. It's like Running Man mixed with Saw. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Or just to make Doug a serial killer. And Patty Mayonnaise has to take him out of his misery.
Darko 3, Doug.
Yeah, it's just Doug. And Doug, and his killer persona is Quail Man. Quail Man's the Quail Man killer. He's going around killing people, and the next person on his list is Patty Mayonnaise, and she has to be the one to take him down and end his reign of terror. Last question.
Now, a question to add with this would be, who would you want to direct?
Darren Aronofsky.
Okay,
for both.
I went for Eli Roth because I want him to film the scene, because I want the boy to become the nature boy that he is in Wild Thornberries, and part of that scene is where he is snatched by a gorilla who is like lost her son due to the zoning of this jungle, which is why the animals are fighting back, and he has to drink gorilla milk in order to become. And he's like, that's the final straw that breaks his mind.
Yeah, man. I don't think any of us can handle drinking chicken gorilla titty milk, dog. Like, at that point, you're kind of mentally checked out.
Right. And only Eli Roth would want to do that.
Yeah, man. So, to do it right, I would have Darren Aronofsky make my Double Dare movie, but I would have David Cronenberg do my Doug serial killer movie. Yeah, because he can do, if you've ever seen History of Violence, he can do a hell of a thriller. Last question. Are there any sounds that you hear that immediately put you on edge?
When I hear my ex-wife, woo! Okay.
Okay, Al Bundy.
Whenever I hear Roseanne speak.
Damn, that works, actually.
There you go. Yeah, I'm watching the reboot right now.
Don't watch that. By the way, don't support that, man.
What?
She's a
What's
Trump
wrong with
supporter,
it?
dude. She's super evil and weird.
Not
What
in
do you mean
real
not
life.
in real life?
Not in
There's only
real
one
life.
way to be that. There's not a kayfabe way
Her
to be.
character that Trump supported.
Okay, we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. I don't want to do that on this podcast. Watch what you want.
You've been watching too much fake news.
I need to answer this question too. It has been all fake news. A baby crying. Okay, that's a noise that makes me. Baby crying immediately puts me on edge. I can't handle it. Man, jeez Louise, what are you looking forward to this week, man?
Well, there was, Hulu releases new episodes of a show the day after. So I have the next episode of Roseanne to watch. And then I'm going to watch the NYPD Blue. There's a new ABC show called The Crossing, which is a sci-fi that I want to look into.
Yeah.
And probably play some Call of Duty, get some sleep.
Yeah, I'm thinking about jumping into a Hulu hole myself. I want to get back into watching My Hero Academia because the new season's going to be starting soon. I'm trying to find anime that is definitely
that's an anime, right?
I want to keep following up on Krypton on the Sci-Fi Channel because that's piqued my interest. And fill in the hours and days until 420 when I can play God of War. So I'm just going to be playing a lot of. I'm thinking about giving Fortnite another shot. Maybe, I don't know. It's already on my hard drive, so I might as well test it again. But definitely playing more Monster Hunter. There's a couple of armor sets I need to complete.
Okay.
Oh man, any passing thoughts before we close this bad boy out?
Read more books. There you go.
Read books, expand your damn minds. Don't cheat and use audible.com. If you want to sponsor us, Audible, I'd be more than happy to talk about how great audible.com is and how it's a one-stop shop for listening to books when you're on the go. But read more books, expand your damn minds, and don't let critics tell you if you want to like a movie or not. Just go see it. Go read it. Go play it. Being a critic's the easiest job in the world, man. Just experience it and draw your own damn conclusions, ladies.
Absolutely. If you want to pay me to be a critic, I'm more than happy to.
But if you would like to sponsor my mastersofthenerdiverse.com for To Be Critics, we would do so immediately because it's the easiest job in the world. You can always find this podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Google Play. And if you want to leave us a like, if you want to comment on any of the channels that you listen to us on, or if you want to subscribe to stay afloat with our updates, please do so. It only helps the channel more. I've, of course, been your host, Mike G.
And I'm your host, Winter Sturdivant.
And we will always ask you to take that one step beyond.